Well, it's got to be said, folks. Rob and Peter back with another video here on Buckles Battle Cry. The hypocrisy is reaching new highs and new levels, and the Michigan arrogance just refuses to die. They don't see that they're doing exactly what they were accusing Ohio State of doing, aren't they, Rob?
I mean, yeah, this is just getting out of control, and I can't keep silent anymore. I'm done being nice, but the hypocrisy with the Michigan fan base and NIL is just astounding. It continues, and they act like not even a year ago or two that they were bashing programs such as Texas A&M,
Yeah.
Miami, and others who were beating them out with recruiting because they're being outspent in NIL. They're bashing them, saying, "Oh, we don't need to buy players. We can build a winning culture." And they even went as far as bashing Ohio State, calling them mercenary. You saying,
Sure
"Oh,
did.
they're just duplicating what Texas A&M did. It didn't work." But you know what? That was completely taken out of context with that $20 million roster. Now I know, Peter, you wanted to give some points about the $20 million roster. So
Sure.
what'd you have?
Well, it's pretty clear, man. I mean, we had a vast majority of returning starters. Clearly, we had 14 players drafted last year, and the majority of that money went to them. Now, sure, did we pay JJ a little bit? I'm sure. Did we pay Downs a little bit? I'm sure. But the overwhelming majority went to returning players, upperclassmen that wanted to come back and do exactly what they did.
And that is definitely win a national championship. And they were all in, man. So no,
Oh, man.
it's not mercenary year, but now fast forward to the very day that they got Bryce Underwood, and
Yeah,
just like it was a complete 360 with their Michigan fan base approach with NIL. It's the greatest thing ever. Big bank take little bank. Nobody spends more than us. We've got all the money, and they were praising Larry Ellison and his wife all the way up and down Ann Arbor after they were able to score the number one coveted recruit in the 2025 class, Bryce Underwood. Just like they completely forgot what they said. Again, going back to one thing they were once bashing, now it's the greatest thing ever, and nobody does it better than us. And that's just the hypocrisy continues, man. And just look at what they're doing in the recruiting trail now. They're saying, "Oh, let Sharon Moore cook." Like he's
yeah,
not cooking. It's the money, dude. Go look back at the recruiting classes. Now, I'm not saying Jim Harbaugh couldn't recruit. I mean, he
sure.
got a couple of top 10 classes, a top 7 class, but
Hmm.
just they missed out on a lot of the 5 stars that they swear
Sure.
up and down they don't need it. But again, it's all good now. Like we're beating out Ohio State. That's literally their whole identity surrounds Ohio State. And it's just like they were missing out on players because of the money aspect. And now that they're able to completely just obliterate, I mean, let's be honest, dude, they're obliterating almost everybody in NIL.
Yeah,
Now they're getting these players that before they wouldn't get. I mean, literally they just got Carter Meadows.
yeah.
They
Five
picked up
star edge.
a 5-star edge. More than likely going to get Calvin Russell, a 5-star wide receiver. They're more than likely going to get Savion Hyder, another coveted, possibly the Jeremiah Smiths of running backs.
Sure.
And they just got this gosh, what was his name? It was a five.
Walker,
Yeah, I think it's who's it, Julian Walker?
Julian Walker, another edge. Yeah.
Yeah, Julian Walker, another edge. And what did it didn't what is it did his dad say about just the Michigan football program?
Well, he's saying that they're building men for the future, and this I'm so impressed with the staff. I'm just so they're clearly investing in more than that. It's like, yeah, they're investing all right. Yeah, they're investing all right in your pocketbooks.
Yeah, I mean, dude, who's gonna? I mean, just from what I'm hearing, it was between Carter Meadows is going to be making between 2 and 2.5 million a year,
Yep.
and
How's that going to make Derek Moore feel, an upperclassman edge? who's been there in the program for many years, getting paid less than a true freshman who hasn't produced a single thing at the University of Michigan. It won't until 2026.
I'm really glad you brought up the point about Derek Moore possibly getting jealous about his pockets not being that filled as much, because you know what? Michigan fans need to keep the same energy that they've been preaching about, especially on freaking MGO blog,
Yeah,
possibly the most insufferable Michigan fans in the face of this earth. I can't talk.
real talk
They
though.
need to keep that same energy about basically
Mercenaries.
mercenaries, dude. How do you actually know? How do you actually know that these players actually want to come to Michigan? Because again, before, let's rewind, you weren't getting these type of recruits. You were swinging, you were missing. So how do
And,
you know these players actually want to come? And
and you
you
can't
know,
you
go
you
on.
can't convince me that an 8-5 season all of a sudden uh, convince all these players out of the woodworks to just come to flood Ann Arbor, Michigan. You can't convince me that, man. 8-5 ended poorly. No, I'm not buying it.
I mean, dude, they want to talk about, you know, Ohio State and duplicating Texas A&M, and let's be honest, dude, Texas A&M, they had a really great recruiting class in 2022, and
Yeah,
Nick Saban was right. Like literally, they weren't getting all these recruits until all the oil money just appeared out of nowhere, and they were able to use that because of NIL. It's just like, okay, to me, what Michigan is doing, it's an NIL experiment.
it is.
It is. We're gonna see what these recruits actually came to Michigan for. Did they come to, play for the love of the program and win a national championship? Or is just like, okay, the first sign of adversity, they're gonna fall apart, they're gonna be talking about their money, and then they're gonna fold like a bunch of lawn chairs.
Now, I can already see the counter argument coming through on the comment section from the Michigan fans. Well, your athletic director paid for those classes down at Texas A&M. He came from Texas A&M. Ross Bjork did. It's like, yes, he did. But guess what? He saw the dysfunction in the locker room and pivoted to paying the players that have already earned it on the field, have put in the blood, sweat, and tears on the practice field and in Ohio Stadium and around the Big Ten of the nation, and pivoted. So that's a moot point as well. He saw how destructive it was, and he took a different approach at Ohio State so far.
Well, let's be honest, man. This is what we've been hearing from the Michigan fan base our entire lives.
Yeah,
Just
we
talking out the both sides of their mouth,
yeah.
forgetting what they said, and it ends with "We're the greatest. Nobody does it better than us." And just for example, dude, I know this is about NIL, but remember how much they were bashing the expanded playoffs? But wait. When they're able to capitalize off
Yeah.
of the 12-team playoff and get in with 2 losses like Ohio State didn't win all, they're going to say, "Oh my gosh, this playoff format is the greatest ever." And you
Freaking
know
love
what?
it.
Nobody did it better than us. Nobody went on the greatest college football run like the University of Michigan Wolverines. Because, dude, that's just how it is, man. It's ridiculous.
It's wild, man. They really are talking outside out of both sides of their neck, and they're blaming us for our championship built, bought not built, and that's just not it. It's not reality. And when you're trying to mock us and bash us for the last 12 months on social media, all over X, all over MGO blog, and various social media platforms, when you turn around and do the what you are accusing us of and bashing that approach, and now you're doing it. I don't hear the backlash now. It's all praise and gloating and look at us, look at us, look at us. And the other thing is that's very clear to me and to some of the talking heads on that have platforms, Josh Pate and the Joel Klatt and the like. The revenue sharing just kicked in on July 1st, yesterday, which means boosters can no longer feed NIL funds to these recruits. When did all these people recruit? Boom! Right before the deadline took place and took effect. That revenue sharing cuts out boosters out of the equation. Larry Ellison, like you mentioned, and they went on a 2-week fundraising campaign, a little GoFundMe for the athletic department, and nailed this 2 weeks straight of recruits. That's how I
Yeah.
see it.
But I'm gonna end with this, Peter, because it's as simple as this.
Yeah.
They want to talk about Sharon Moore cooking, but you also
Right.
have to look at his 8-5 season. Dude,
Yep.
he went 8-5, lost teams he shouldn't have, lost to playoff teams. But cool, you beat Ohio State. That's great. It's the biggest rivalry where town doesn't matter. It's who wants more. And you know what? I'll give it to Michigan. Michigan won more. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean the winning culture is there. NIL
Yep.
only works if a winning culture has already been instilled. And 8-5 just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't.
Boom. Let them know, Rob. That's gonna do it for this one. Go Bucks and God bless. We'll see you on the next one.
OH.
IO.